Now, live from the Matt Black Kia Studios.
Oh, what a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Wednesday edition of Game Night Hump Day Wednesday here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Glad to have you guys on board the show today. Dave Weinberg is back. Weinberg Wednesday is back here on 97.3 ESPN FM. We'll ask Dave about his thoughts on some NFL, some baseball. You know, Dave loves baseball, so we'll get his thoughts on the fiasco that has been the baseball offseason. Plus, you guys can join the conversation. You can text in 609-403-0973, 609-403-0973 is the text board. Also, you can DM the show through the 973 ESPN mobile app, thanks to First Bank of Seattle City. You know, today we heard from a former Eagles head coach and a current Eagles head coach. Yeah. And anyone else think it's a coincidence? I don't, by the way, that Doug Peterson spoke on the same day as the Eagles people. That feels like that was planned. It really does. But I digress. Enough of Doug Peterson. Howie, Roseman, and Sirianni spoke to the media today. And I'll get to Harden, the Sixers, who are back on the court tonight in just a bit. But, you know, when I was listening earlier today to Howie and Nick, one of the things I took away from their conversation with the media was the fact that this organization genuinely believes in Quez Watkins. I almost said Jalen Watkins, wrong Watkins. In Quez Watkins. And I'm still trying to process this idea. If they just think that they know something the rest of us don't. Like, are they just playing cards and they're calling a bluff on us every 5 seconds? Or is there something about Quez Watkins that we don't know? And I mean that in all sincerity. I don't understand what is going on with this Quez Watkins. I don't even know what you want to call it. Obsession over evaluation, fascination, projection, whatever it is. I'm confused because they're acting like Watkins is like a bona fide number 2 receiver in this league. And the only thing I've seen him do is be a good NFL receiver, but I would never put him in the same category of anybody else's number 2 in this league. I mean, this is an NFL where Amon-Ra St. Brown of the Lions had a 7-game stretch with one of the best receivers in the NFL. You're telling me that Quez Watkins is a better receiver than a dude playing on a garbage football team who put up stupid receiving numbers? I'm just having trouble wrapping my head around this. So I'm trying to decipher today if Howie and Nick are playing poker with us and we're all completely being bluffed into believing and that they're going to do something completely different, or is Quez Watkins just better than we all realize? I'll try to process this. I really am. Because to me, I've said for months now, the Eagles need to get a veteran in free agency at receiver. I'm tired of the free agent room for the Eagles, only veteran being Greg Ward. It's ridiculous. They need another dude in that room. And I don't need it to be George Pickens, who's still coming off of an injury. I don't need it to be Burks from Arkansas. I don't need it to be any of these young guys. And there's nothing against the young guys. I'm not anti-rookie receiver. I'm anti not having veterans. Every time this franchise has been successful, it's when they have veteran receivers. They won a Super Bowl with Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. When it was D. Jackson Macklin, they had great years here in Philadelphia. T.O. helped get them to a Super Bowl, right? Every time this franchise has veteran receivers, they're much better. It doesn't matter who the head coach is, doesn't matter who the quarterback is. But for some reason, Howie and Nick are trying to sell me on Watkins, and I don't know why. And it's frustrating me to no end. I don't get it. I wish I knew what they knew, because it's driving me up a wall. Now, again, Sirianni and Roseman doubled down their commitment to Jalen Hurts. I'm not that surprised by that. I mean, let's be realistic. We all know that this organization drafted Jalen Hurts for a reason. They didn't backdoor their way into this guy. They drafted him in the second round. This isn't Tom Brady with the Patriots getting drafted in the sixth round. Oh, I didn't know this guy was going to be this good. This isn't that, okay? This isn't that scenario. So the people who are still freaking out about Jalen Hurts being the quarterback, I don't know what to tell you. You're obviously either anti-Hurts or you don't understand how the NFL works. Because the majority of the league has been playing with quarterbacks on rookie contracts, trying to build up their roster to make a championship run. That's the way the league has been working recently. Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, the first time for the Rams for a Super Bowl run. Most of these guys are on cheap contracts. The guys with the fat, bloated contracts are typically not getting to the big game. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that's a coincidence. So I don't understand these people who are still surprised of the Eagles' commitment to Hurts. If you genuinely believe that the Eagles are a quarterback away from a championship, you and I didn't see the same team last year. They are deficient at multiple position groups. They need more pass rushing help, especially with Brandon Graham down injured last year. This team needs more depth at linebacker. They need better help at safety and the corner position on the outside across from Darius Slay. They could definitely use more depth at multiple positions. I'll even throw out their running back. Boston Scott was literally, Mike Gill and I were joking the other day, Boston Scott was highlighted on SportsCenter as a notable free agent for the Eagles. That's how people look at this guy. If that's how SportsCenter are thinking, you don't think somebody's going to try to come in there and maybe overpay Boston Scott to leave Philadelphia? And then you're left with Miles Sanders and Kenneth Gainwell and hopefully Jordan Howard. You're going to need one more guy. I don't understand why people believe that a quarterback fixes all of this team's problems. You heard me rant about the receivers. They need more talent at the receiver position. And I mean guys who are possession receivers, guys who can do a multitude of different things. I've heard people who study film say that they don't think that Devonta Smith is best used as the X receiver, the primary outside receiver. I've heard people say that the Eagles should use him like the Rams used Cooper Kupp all over the formation. Well, then you're going to need a stationary guy on the other side. For the Rams, it originally was Robert Woods, and then later it became Odell Beckham Jr., and then Van Jefferson when Odell went down. For the Eagles, it's not Quez Watkins or Rager. So if you want to use Devonta all over the field, you need another guy who's either as versatile as Smith is, or you need a traditional outside X receiver. It's as simple as that to me. Getting fill-in-the-blank quarterback doesn't fix that problem. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson, fill-in-the-blank quarterback doesn't fix your problem with your receivers. It doesn't fix your problem with cornerback. It doesn't fix your problem with safety. It doesn't fix your problem with linebacker. And I don't even hate the linebackers as much as Billy Schweim does on the locker room. Listen to Billy Schweim. These Eagle linebackers are the worst of all time. I mean, Billy Schweim's irrational hatred for Alex Singleton makes me think he did something to him personally. But I digress. The Eagles need so many things. But if you're going to sit there and act like, man, this Jalen Hurts, them doubling down their commitment to him is crazy. I don't know if you and I are watching the same football team. I really don't. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. Of course, tonight on 97.3 ESPN FM, Sixers versus the Knicks, the debut of James Harden in front of the Philly faithful at the Center up in Philadelphia. You know, I'm interested to see tonight, can the Knicks make any adjustments from Sunday's game? Can they make a single adjustment? I don't know if they can or not, but I'm curious to see if they attempt to. The Knicks are not a very talented team, okay? The combination of some miscalculations with their roster building combined with Thibodeau just being this rigid coach, you put those two together with some unfortunate injuries to key players who really shouldn't be key players, honestly. But you have a situation where the Knicks aren't a very good team. But do they try to make some adjustments tonight? We'll find out. The real test for the Sixers is coming this weekend. Cavs on Friday, Heat on Saturday. Cavs at home Friday night. They got to fly to Miami the next day and play the Heat. That's where the super test is. But tonight, it's going to be fun. Sixers probably going to win pretty easily in the end. I don't assume this is going to be an easy game for the Knicks to try to get back into the game. We know who the Knicks are. The Knicks are the epitome of a below-average NBA team at this point. It's just who they are. I know exactly what they are at this point. And I'm not expecting them to give the Sixers a major challenge tonight. I think there might be stretches of the game where the Sixers don't play great and they let the Knicks get back into it, but I'm assuming this is going to be a successful debut for James Harden in front of the Philly faithful. The real question with the Sixers is, can Tobias Harris find his groove tonight? You saw him now for 2 games look like the odd man out in that trio of Embiid, Harden, and Maxey. Even Thibault's getting action in certain scenarios. Can Harris find his groove? Can Harris find his footing? I'm going to assume that Harris is too good of a basketball player to not find his footing eventually. I don't know how good Harris is going to be tonight, but I'm going to assume that he is going to eventually get it together. I just think that you have a talented basketball player. Talent usually finds a way. I just have a trouble believing that Tobias Harris last season had that stretch where he had 20-6 almost every single night. And now all of a sudden, he can't get anywhere close to that. Talent finds a way. And I genuinely believe, whether it's tonight or another night, Harris will find his way back. Of course, Sixers versus Knicks tonight, 7:30 right here on 97.3 ESPN FM. Tom McGinnis on the call here on your radio dial. We'll get to your thoughts and comments a little bit later in the show. Text board is open, 609-403-0973. You can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up on the other side, Dave Weinberg from an edition of Weinberg Wednesday. He is back from a week hiatus. He went on a little vacation, but he is back, and we'll talk baseball, football, and more right here on 97.3 ESPN FM and 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle City. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
4-on-1, down to Embiid, and a slam. James Harden sets up Joel Embiid.
The Sixers host the New York Knicks. Coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
Hey, big guy. Simple credibility approval.
Listen, big guy, try this. Give them more cash for their clunker.
That was my idea.
It's a President's Day sale all month. 0 down, 0.9% financing, 0 payments for 90 days, or $1,000 cash back. At Matt Black Kia, you could have it all. Plus, we want to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0.9% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2022 Kia Stinger, or get $1,000 cash back. Plus, Matt Black Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Gotta be a Matt Black Kia.
Offers with Group Tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 for 1,000 borrowed. 1,000 off all 22 Stingers. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2022. Matt Black Kia, 6211 on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
TracFone Wireless knows that everyone needs an endless amount of data. So why pay for it? Get unlimited talk to text with 8 gigabytes of high-speed data for just $40 a month, with unlimited carryover data so you keep what you don't use on America's largest and most dependable networks with nationwide 5G. TracFone Wireless, now you're in control. Available at major retailers. 5G compatible device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at TracFone.com.
Ready to get fiscally fit in 2022? First Harvest Credit Union offers home equity loans as low as 2.99 annual percentage rate for 5 years and as low as 3.49 annual percentage rate for 10 years. For more on these specials, visit firstharvestcu.com or visit a local branch by March 31st. For additional information as to costs, call 800-582-7640. Must apply by March 31st, 2022. Subject to qualifications and approval. Other restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
We're out of the brand name, but we do have the generic version of
Serene's Pharmacy can't keep up with allergy season.
Who's next in line?
They need certified technicians to alleviate the headache.
Ma'am, I'm so sorry for the wait. We'll have your prescription filled soon. I need some help.
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Instant Match instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The uh-ohs are out there. Scratches, dents, unexpected natural events. But with Mako and their magic, your car is no longer tragic. So when life throws you uh-ohs, just say,
better get Mako.
And go to Mako.com to book your appointment today.
March is for nets and bets. Place your college basketball bets at DraftKings Sportsbook at Resorts Casino Hotel. DraftKings Sportsbook is the ultimate sports betting experience with massive ultra-high-definition TVs, 18 betting kiosks, and great game day drink specials. From prop bets to live in-game betting, DraftKings Sportsbook has it all. Voted 2021 Best Overall Sportsbook. Call ahead for VIP reservations. Visit resortsac.com for more information. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here, Matt Black Kia Studios on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. We didn't get a chance to talk to him last week. He was on a little vacay to Florida with some very nice views I was a little jealous of, but we still allowed him to come back on the show this week for an edition of Weinberg Wednesday. Dave Weinberg joins us right now. He is back here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Dave, how you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. A little colder than I was last week, but that's okay.
It's a little colder. Yeah, it's a little.
Like 40 degrees colder.
Right, exactly. Well, Dave, first of all, welcome back. I'm glad to have you back. I know
Nice.
that, it was a very nice time for you down there, but I hate to start here because it's probably the worst topic of the day for you, but I know how much you love baseball.
Yes.
And I am so exasperated with these self-righteous, avarice-filled, tone-deaf imbeciles that run baseball. I don't understand why it's so important for them to be right that they can't even compromise on anything.
Yeah, Josh. I mean, I'm with you. They've had like 9 months to get this done, and they waited till like the last minute, barely negotiated. owners made a ridiculous offer yesterday, which they knew that was going to get turned down. I just I don't know. I don't understand why it gets to this point. You got to find a way to meet in the middle, get back on the field, and play baseball. The fans deserve it. The players deserve it. Everybody deserves it. I don't understand it all.
Do you think that baseball is? Do they even know what they're doing? Like, is there an end game here? Like, are they trying to lose games this season? Like, I feel like we're getting a lot of mixed signals from them. On one hand, Rob Manfred is saying we care about what the fans think, and I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, it's clear that they don't, and that's a really shame. It's a real shame because the sport has lost a generation already, and you're in danger of losing another one. I mean, anybody that's under 40 has maybe a casual interest in the game. The people like myself are few and far between now, and it's just I don't understand their thinking. I know that you can't just give away things and that kind of stuff in negotiations, but still you have to find a way to get on the field on time. You can't be canceling a series a year and 2 series a week, a month. I mean, it's just you're never going to get those fans back once they leave. So you got to do everything in your power to settle this.
Is it possible
I don't care if you use the expired CBA from last year. I mean, I think from what I understand, they could play in that while they try to hammer out another agreement. So I don't get this lockout at all.
Well, that was Mike Gill's problem. Mike Gill doesn't understand why they can't just keep playing and then figure out the next deal while they're going through the season.
Right. I'm with him there. Yep.
My question is, does the owners of these teams, because we know that Manfred just speaks for them. You know what I mean? Like, people are like, Manfred stinks. Well, Manfred's representing the owners. He's not doing this on his own. He's not unilaterally locking out baseball.
Right.
So I ask you, Dave, do you think the owners just don't care? Like, do they just not care that the casual fan and these people are saying, have a nice day to their sport?
I'm starting to think that way. They're on a different league, so to speak, as far as they just view baseball as a business. I think most of those guys made their money in other venues, so this is just a hobby to them, pretty much, which I guess is the case with every sports owner and every major sport. But it's beginning to look like they don't. I mean, why? The people that live in Clearwater or in every other spring training site, they depend on that to work in the concession stands, work in the stands of spring training games.
Right.
People plan vacations to go down there or out west to the Cactus League, and all those people are getting shut out. And it's clear that they don't care, and I don't understand why not.
Well, so you mentioned Florida, but what about up here? If you're canceling games for the regular season, concession stand people work at the stadiums, people who maintain the field, parking lot attendants. There are people whose entire livelihoods are built around this sport being an 8-9 month marathon. And it's like, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're fine. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but these guys seem to think that everything exists in a bubble. Like, well, it doesn't matter about anybody else. It matters. It's like they are so intent on acting like sports haven't evolved since 1975. It's like they're still mad about Kurt Flood or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. You have to find a way to come to a happy medium here. You can't just do this just for the sake because I want to be right and I want to win and I don't care what anybody else thinks. It's just not. There's got to be some sort of cooperation here. I mean, like you said, you just walk around the concourse of a Phillies game, and the people working the concession stands, the ushers showing you to your seats, everybody else, people that are taking the money in at the parking lot. It's just that's money out of their pockets, and they're not. I don't know them personally, but I understand. I would gather they're not personally wealthy enough to just miss a week or month or so of the season. But again, the owners just don't. I guess they just don't relate to the everyday working class kind of person.
And that really gets to the other point I have always wondered. Dave Weinberg joining us for a Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Columnist over at 97.3 ESPN.com. Follow him on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. Dave, I have been saying that there's a sports financial bubble that's going to burst. And I feel like fans are going to have to eventually choose where their money's going to be spent. And we're already starting to see that, for example, with Flyer games, the building is mostly empty. People just don't want to go to a game where they're spending all this money to see a lousy team. And I'm starting to wonder, baseball attendance has been going down year after year. The team in Atlanta. So we looked this up earlier. The Braves average attendance, the Braves in Atlanta, is less than the MLS team in Atlanta.
Wow.
Like, that's where we're at right now. A soccer team that our audience couldn't name, Dave, is getting more people to show up on an average game basis. Now, I understand there's less MLS games than there are Braves games, but it's still baseball. Baseball is Americana. Baseball is a part of the history of this country, for goodness sake. And it's like these guys think that, well, the money will still be there. What if the money isn't there? What if people decide when baseball comes back, I'd rather do something else?
Yeah, they're really running they're really taking a gamble here, I think. Like we said, personally, I'm not. I mean, I'm such a hardcore lover of the game that I'll stupidly come back regardless. But yeah, there's a whole lot of people that are on the borderline now of quitting the game, so to speak. And yeah, if they don't get back, if they miss like more than like a season or a series or two, I'm really afraid that they're gonna run into a problem that they're not gonna be able to come back from.
Dave, let's flip it over to something that's not baseball. That's going to make my blood boil. Although it is kind of weird. So I got to ask you what I said before you came on. And that is, first of all, I don't think it's a coincidence that Doug Peterson spoke before the Eagles people today. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think somebody did that on purpose. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. That was a pretty sly move by him. And
somebody said, would it be funny if Doug Peterson spoke before Howie Roseman?
Yep. That probably wasn't a coincidence, like you said.
But I digress. So Howie Roseman and Sirianni continue to do something that's perplexing me. They keep insisting that Quez Watkins is a number 2 receiver. Now, either Dave, I don't know football and I'm an idiot, or they're completely lying to all of us, because there's no way that this team is good enough moving forward if your number 2 receiver is Quez Watkins.
I'll agree with you there. I mean, he have potential, certainly, and he showed flashes of that, but clearly not on a consistent basis. They have Devontae Smith, and then they have a cast of or whoever. They clearly need to upgrade that position, and whether it's through the draft or signing a veteran free agent or what have you. But yeah, you can't go into the season with Quez Watkins as your number 2. At least I don't think so.
I mean, my position is they need to get a veteran here. The veteran in that locker room right now is Greg Ward, for goodness sake. Get somebody else who's played in the league. Every time the Eagles have been successful, they've had veteran receivers for the last almost 30 years, Dave. Terrell Owens, Alshon Jeffrey, when it was D-Jax and Macklin. There's never been an era when the Eagles had veteran receivers and they were just like, we're horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why. History is there. Howie's been here for 20 years now? He's been in the building. Every time they bring in a veteran, they're just a better team. And I'm not saying it has to be the best guy on the market, but you're telling me that a veteran receiver wouldn't help this team?
Yeah, you just need somebody that's been in the league for a little while, like you said, to show the younger guys the ropes. I mean, they have a lot of talented young kids, but there's more to it than that. And you have to have that veteran presence in your position room just to show how you conduct yourself, how you play the game, both on and off the field. And they don't have that right now. I mean, no offense to Greg Ward. He's been a pretty reliable guy for them, I guess, for the last few years, but that's not the guy that you need to lead your position group. And yeah, they're making a mistake if they don't add somebody there.
I mean, personally, what I would do is I would just go after Allen Robinson and be done with it. I'm not saying he's the best receiver in the world, but he's a guy who's played in the league. And he gives you an opportunity to do other things with Devonta Smith. I forget who said it. It was one of those film tape guys, like a Greg Cosell or Matt Bowen, but they talked about how they would love to see the Eagles use Devonta Smith the way the Rams use Cooper Kupp, moving him up and down the formation, moving him in different slots and positions. Let him be the versatile weapon and find a guy who's more of a stationary outside receiver. That just makes a lot of sense, Dave, to me.
Yeah, it does. I mean, Quez Watkins is a great downfield threat, I guess, or he has the potential to be one. But yeah, you need somebody that can be your go-to guy when teams are covering Devontae Smith. You need somebody who's consistent, has good hands, can run routes, develops a rapport with Jalen Hurts or whoever the quarterback is. And yeah, they don't have anybody out there like that right now. And that every team needs that in your offense. You need a guy that you can really depend on when things break down or whatever, that you can throw the ball to, and they don't have that.
The other thing that makes me laugh is the people who were freaking out, Dave, in the last several hours about the Eagles doubling down on Jalen Hurts being their starting quarterback. Both Howie and Nick both got up there and said, Jalen's our quarterback. They doubled down on it, and people are freaking out. And I keep trying to explain to people, David, listen, you covered the Eagles for almost 30 years at this point. You've seen a lot of football. You've probably forgotten more football than some people ever knew, honestly. But seriously, to me, a quarterback doesn't make this team a Super Bowl contender. They need more talent. Receiver, linebacker, pass rusher, safety. Who's starting at quarter across from Darius Slay? Fill in the blank quarterback doesn't fix any of those problems.
Yeah, I've actually been talking about, other people have been asking me about this, about the Russell Wilson talks. Supposedly, they were interested in him, but yeah, you're not going to win it. You're right. They need far more than just a quarterback, and give Jalen Hurts another opportunity. I mean, was he inconsistent? I guess at times, yes, but I'm still convinced that he has the ability and the maturity and the leadership. There's intangible things to go with the arm. Does he need to fix his throwing motion? Yes. Does he need more arm strength? Possibly. But yeah, I still think that he can be the quarterback that they need to take them to the future. And you're right. Russell Wilson's a great quarterback when he's healthy. Yes. Aaron Rodgers, I'm passing on him, but he's a great one as well. But yeah, I'm willing to ride with Jalen Hurts and like they are. And there's so many other holes to fill. You don't need to be chasing another quarterback at this point.
You know what it is, Dave? I think people have this infatuation with a way they think football works, but not really the way football works. You know what I mean? Like the people who are always yelling, you got to blitz. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, if you blitz on every play, like right now I'm reading through, I'm about a little more than halfway done, Sweetness by Jeff Pearlman, the Walter Payton book. And they talk about in the book how they told Buddy Ryan before the Marino Dolphins game, don't blitz him because he'll eat you alive. And Buddy basically said, bleep you, I'm going to blitz him to death, and I hope he dies on the field. Well, guess what? Marino Dolphins chewed up the 85 Bears because he kept blitzing him. And to me, I think people don't understand that there's these ideas people have about football that it doesn't matter if it worked once. It doesn't mean it'll work every time. And teams win championships. I've never seen an individual win a Super Bowl by himself. I just haven't.
No, you're right. And yeah, the blitzing thing's an interesting element to it. Yeah, there's guys there. I mean, Jonathan Gannon took a lot of heat for playing that, that cover two and so-called vanilla defense, not blitzing probably as much as they wanted. But there are veteran quarterbacks that they faced, or even young talented guys who they get rid of the ball in a fraction of a second. And if your blitz doesn't get there, then you're in deep trouble. And if you're not careful, that guy's going to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns or what have you. So yeah, you got to pick and choose your spots. And I understand that people, they kind of probably have a different view of the game. They see the sacks and the touchdown passes and everything, and they know that's what they want to see. But it doesn't necessarily work that way. You have to really grind it out a lot of times on a football game, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that people really don't realize, I think. So yeah, it's double teams or or screen bubble screens, that kind of stuff. I mean, there's so much more intricacies to the game that maybe the general fan doesn't realize it's there.
Dave Weinberg joins us for the edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. You can follow him on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. Dave, I know how much you love golf. And when I saw this story today, I had to laugh.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, the PGA Tour now has a program called the Player Impact Bonus Program.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, players now are making money based on their popularity. Tiger Woods won $8 million, and he hasn't played any significant golf in a while. And it was all because of his popularity rating and cum and social media. Dave, your thoughts on Tiger Woods still beating Phil Mickelson, Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Bryson DeChambeau, and he hasn't even swung a golf club at a major?
Yeah, that's golf has a lot of problems right now. They have the rival golf league that's trying to start up by the Saudis, and Phil Mickelson's been saying some very inflammatory and controversial stuff lately.
Yeah.
So his popularity probably isn't the best right now anyway. But yeah, it's kind of odd that Tiger hasn't played in forever since that car accident, and yet he's still the most popular guy. It just shows you how popular he is, though, with the general fan. I mean, he kind of put golf on the map, or kept it on the map for the last 20 years, maybe 30, and his popularity hasn't waned. People are still invested in him, still care about what he thinks and what he says, and I guess that's the reason why he won the award. I mean, I think it's kind of odd, but nothing surprises me in golf anymore.
Yeah, so Tiger Woods walked away with $8 million. Phil Mickelson still came in second. He's at $6 million. McIlroy, Spieth, DeChambeau, and Thomas will each receive $3.5 million, while Dustin Johnson, Brooks Koepka, John Rahm, and Bubba Watson will all receive $3 million. So the other guys are still getting some money out of it, but it's just, I shake my head. I'm like, Tiger Woods is still winning at life, and the guy is not even on the course right now.
Yeah, that's true. Very true. Yep.
It's absolutely the strange. Like you said, golf's a strange thing. Like these individual sports play in a different world than the team sports, really, David. Doesn't it seem like that?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, you the PGA Tour, and especially this year, there's been so many different winners and some that people have never heard of, but that just goes to show you the depth of the talent in the PGA Tour. There, somebody can come out of nowhere and have this, that all it takes is 4 good rounds, and you can win a couple $1 million. And it's and even with the tour itself, I mean, all you have to do is make a cut. If you make a cut every week, you're going to be a millionaire by the end of the year. And that's mediocrity. I hate to say it, but mediocrity sometimes gets rewarded on that tour. I mean, it's off. I don't want to say they're mediocre players. I mean, even the 100th ranked player is fantastic. But yeah, it just goes to show you that it is such a strange sport.
It really is. Dave, I appreciate you jumping on. Give Dave a follow on Twitter at Dave Weinberg 19. Extra point columns over at 973ESPN.com. And he is back from Florida, freezing up here with the rest of us now, finally. Dave, appreciate you jumping on. Have a good one.
Oh, thanks, Josh. Good to be back. I'll talk to you next week.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM. We'll get back to your text in just a bit at 609-403-0973. Dan and EHC, I see you chiming in on the text board. Plus, you can DM the show through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. It's free. Thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night.
Wake up with Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Do you know why Joel Embiid had 37? He went 23 of 27 from the free throw line because James put him in a lot of those situations where he was able to draw contact, and the game becomes easier for him.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Listen weekday mornings at 6 on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
March is for nets and bets. Place your college basketball bets at DraftKings Sportsbook at Resorts Casino Hotel. DraftKings Sportsbook is the ultimate sports betting experience with massive ultra-high definition TVs, 18 betting kiosks, and great game day drink specials. From prop bets to live in-game betting, DraftKings Sportsbook has it all. Voted 2021 Best Overall Sportsbook. Call ahead for VIP reservations. Visit resortsac.com for more information. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you want the best for your car? Then fill up with premium at Circle K. Circle K Premium is our best fuel with double the cleaning detergent, protecting your engine from corrosion and damage so it can work at its best. And that, my friend, increases your mileage for more cha-ching in your pocket. Plus, when you fill up with premium at Circle K, you can save up to 20 cents per gallon. Offer valid Thursdays or Fridays at participating stores. For details, visit CircleK.com. Circle K. How convenient.
The NFL football season is over, and the winter of 2022 is coming to a close. We are rapidly moving toward two long-awaited dates. One, after February 26th, there are only 3 Saturdays left until spring, and on March 13th, we move our clocks ahead. Hi, Tom McAllister from McAllister the Service Company. These are annual milestones that set us on a path towards warmer weather and those hot summer days. Remember the end of last summer when you decided to put off upgrading your older, inefficient air conditioning system? Now's the perfect time to revisit that idea and take advantage of preseason discounts and also the rebates offered by the state and the utilities. Talk to the experts at McAllister at 609-927-4122 or at mcservice.com for all of your air conditioning and heating needs. At McAllister, we cannot control the weather, but we can control your comfort.
This is important news. If you have unfiled tax returns, the IRS is shifting gears and ramping up investigations on non-filers this year. If you fail to file your tax returns for a year or more, or you owe back taxes, now's the time to call Optima Tax Relief before the IRS finds you. Optima is America's #1 most trusted tax resolution firm, specialized in helping individuals, families, and businesses get right with the IRS. They're experts in the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, a powerful new program that can make resolving tax issues easier. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, Optima's award-winning team has helped thousands of people protect their paychecks, bank accounts, homes, and businesses by putting their tax problems to rest, resolving over $1 billion in tax debts for their clients. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-968-9022. 800-968-9022. 800-968-9022.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, big guy. Simple credibility approval.
Listen, big guy, try this. Give them more cash for their clunker.
That was my idea. It's a President's Day sale. All month. 0 down, 0.9% financing, 0 payments for 90 days, or $1,000 cash back. At Matt Blatt Kia, you could have it all. Plus, we want to get you out of that old car you hate. Come in today or visit us online and get the credit you deserve. 0.9% APR financing available for up to 60 months on new 2022 Kia Stinger, or get $1,000 cash back. Plus, Matt Blatt Kia in Toms River and Egg Harbor Township wants your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, you can't make a mistake with our 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
Gotta be a Matt Black kid.
Offers with approved tier 1 or 2 credit through Kia Motors Finance. Not all will qualify. 0% based on 1516 for 1,000 borrowed. 1,000 off all 22 Stingers. Go to mattblackkianj.com for complete details. Expires 3/4/2022. Matt Black Kia, 6211 on the Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and now on Route 37 in Toms River.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, being brought to you by Resorts Casino Hotel, home to DraftKings Sportsbook in Atlantic City. Visit resortsac.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Get some of your messages now. Of course, text board is open at 609-403-0973. A plethora of ways to get a hold of the show. Of course, if you're listening on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, you can DM the show as well through the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Good conversation with Dave. Always enjoyed talking to him. Sixers back in action tonight. James Harden making his debut in front of the Philly faithful. Message comes in and says, I'd be really shocked if Tobias Harris is a Sixer to start next season. They need to find a way to dump that salary and get a stretch forward that can shoot from deep. Well, here's the problem with that statement, Texter. And you didn't leave your name, so I can't give you credit or not credit for it. But Tobias Harris's problem isn't that he can't shoot. All right. Tobias Harris this year is shooting about 35% from three. For his career, he's about 36.5%. That's about league average. Last season, he shot 39%. The year before, he shot 36%. The year before that, combined between Philly and LA, he shot 39%. The year before that, he shot 41%. Tobias Harris's problem isn't that he can't shoot. So you need to take that idea and put it to the side. The first part of your text, I think, is really where the rubber meets the road. And that is this idea that Tobias's salary right now is looking worse and worse by the day. People forget that part of the reason why Tobias got paid the money that he did was because of the fact that Jimmy Butler left. There was money, and they had to make a choice between Jimmy and Tobias. And Jimmy made the decision easy for them. He said, I'm out. So then they had to give the money to somebody. And Tobias, who technically took a little less than the max, technically. I think he took about $10 million less or whatever it was. But the point is that the salary that he is making is not equal to the production that he has given you. Now, what he has given you in the non on the court sense has been extremely valuable as a leader in the locker room, as a mentor for the younger players. He's very valuable there. But the reality is that Tobias Harris, making the money that he is, and going out there and scoring 18 points per game, 7 rebounds a game this year, shooting 35% from three. It's not equal. It's not an even exchange, right? So I agree that Tobias's salary is probably going to be the thing that dooms him in the long run in Philadelphia. I think that what people don't realize with Tobias is that he can shoot. He just is not shooting. Tobias, as we talked about on Monday with Keith Pompey here on Game Night, Tobias has to change his role. He has to change the way he perceives himself in the grand scheme of things. He has to adjust to the changing team around him. Maxey and Embiid and Harden are all adjusting fluidly, and Tobias is adjusting in a very clunky way. Okay? That's where the rubber meets the road here for Tobias. Can he work with this team? Of course he can. Can he shoot? Of course he can. This idea that Tobias can't do these things is flawed. I'll tell you something he can't do that the Sixers needed more of, and they still don't have it. Tobias's career high in rebounds per game was 7.9. That was the year he got traded from Los Angeles to Philadelphia. His second highest number was 7.2. The third highest number was 7. Otherwise, he's under that for the rest of his career. When the Sixers were the worst rebounding team in the league this year for a long stretch of time, statistically, they had the fewest rebounds per game in the entire league. And you're giving Tobias that money to be in stretch 4. I need more rebounds for you, bro. I need more rebounds. I need more. Instead, I wasn't getting it. Instead, this year, Tobias Harris is giving me 7.2 rebounds. Good, but not worth $185 million over, 4 or 5 years? That's where the rub is to me. That's where the problem is. You're making $34 million this year, and my team still can't rebound. That's the problem. Josh Hennig here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Get more text in just a second. Dan from EHT chimes in about the Eagles conversation earlier. Says, I always say it's a lot easier to get a great quarterback than building an 83-man roster. That's why hitting on a small percentage of drafting a quarterback is worth a pick most of the time. Well, Dan, you and I agree to disagree, because I've seen more teams win with mediocre quarterbacks than great quarterbacks win championships. I can name you a ton of dudes who are in the Hall of Fame who never won a ring. Dan Marino never won a ring. Dan Fouts never won a ring. Warren Moon never won a ring. Rodgers, 1 ring. Favre, 1 ring. 1. Those are 2 of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time. 1 ring. If it wasn't for Terrell Davis, Mike Shanahan, Shannon Sharp, and Rod Smith, John Elway would have never won any rings. You got to build a team no matter what, Dan EHT. You can't sacrifice everything for the quarterback all the time. I think part of the reason why Rodgers hasn't made up his mind is because Rodgers is trying to figure out if he really wants to keep doing this. I generally believe that Rodgers realizes I haven't won a championship in a decade, and I'm the 2-time back-to-back league MVP. What does that say about me? Tom from the Villains chimes in on the text board, says, Josh, hope all is well. Am I the only one frustrated that social media is praising Joel and Harden but not giving Maxey any credit? You know, Tom, it's interesting because we live in a world where people pick and choose who they want to be the hero, who they want to be the villain. You know, Harden is cool and he's fun. He's got the beard. And Maxey, he's still a kid. So I think part of the problem for Maxey is that he's still so young. He's still so, I don't know, still fresh to certain people. If they don't recognize what he's doing on the floor, you could argue Maxey has become a better player since James Harden got here. Maxey is the number 3 in that big 3 now. He's not paid like it, but he genuinely is the 3rd in that big 3 right now. Tom for the Bills, appreciate you chiming in. Before we get out of here, a texter says, Tobias averaging 18.7 rebounds and 4 assists. That's what you pay for that nowadays. I understand what you're saying, texter. But when Tyrese Maxey is a better player right now than Tobias Harris on this team, it's not a good look. That Tobias contract is coming back to haunt this team long term. It really is. Sixers tonight, 7:30 on 97.3 ESPN FM. Have a great night, everybody.